for her second speech. Anja sagen, Shadow Dick, Anja sagen.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I'm Anja Sagan, and my speech this evening is about shadow gifts. The shadow is not something that is from an old 40s radio drama or something like that. Have you ever sat down next to someone and felt like your skin was crawling and just couldn't stand being next to that person? Chances are, most likely, that that person had something that one would call a shadow of yours. That's what a shadow is. It was originally the idea was originally from Carl Jung, the psychologist that was around in the early 20th century. It was later adopted by a lady named Debbie Ford, and she really, in my opinion, brought it to a much more user-friendly way of being. What she espouses is that the shadow that a person has is something that they say, it's not me. This, I am not, say, I'm not stupid. And they will do everything in their power to say, I'm not stupid, and they'll push that away. And anybody who is stupid, they'll be like judging that person because they really don't like that in themselves, but they don't want to admit the fact that they have that in themselves. Everybody has an aspect of stupidity to them. If you walked into a room and you were an artist and suddenly they gave you a quadratic equation, would you feel brilliant? Not necessarily. The work that Debbie Ford came up with, the shadow work, in my opinion is what one might call the path of the heart warrior. What that is one delves into these things, like stupid or other things that one doesn't find desirable about themselves, and actually unlocks the energy by finding them as gifts. If one's stupid and they don't want to be that way, what are they going to do? They're going to study. They're going to learn. And in acknowledging the fact that you have that element of stupidity in you, you also allow yourself to fall flat on your face and not hate yourself for it if you embrace that in yourself. So if, say, a person who's resisting the idea, I can't be stupid, they'll be very invested in their, whatever they're saying, and if somebody says you're wrong, they'll be, I'm not stupid, that kind of thing. Then that's the reaction of the shadow. When they embrace that, oh, I can't believe I didn't remember that. And they can integrate that and learn from it. There's a number of things that I have done on my personal journey, one of which was embracing a shadow called, that I knew of as unwanted. This was a very deep shadow for me. I mean, people start off generally with the lighter ones and easier ones to sort of work their way through. This has been after a long time. The shadow of unwanted. When I was born, I was given up immediately as an infant for adoption. And so there was in my psyche a degree of, feeling of rejection, of not being wanted, of being unwanted. And in my not wanting to be unwanted, I sought love on the external. I would seek it first, of course, from my mother, who adopted me, and I would be clinging to her. But when I was a child, in the dark hours of the night, I would wake up crying, knowing someday that my parents would die, and that love would not be there. I went through relationships when I was growing up, in romantic relationships, and I sought love on the external in that way. And in doing that, it always ends up in frustration, because love on that level is impermanent. There is no such thing as, even if you have a partner that's ideal for you, and you spend your lives with them, eventually either you or they will die, and that love will not continue. So I also ended up going into a cult, trying to find people who would show me how to find love, how to find the source of love. And after I ended up leaving that cult and went through a period of very dark sort of mental illness, I came to understand that that experience, that shadow that I ended up embracing of the crazy person, led me to, through the shell of the ego, to understand that underneath all of this, there is a source that all religions talk of and they point to. And that source is the source of love, and that love comes through me and through all of you as well, to you. And when you can love yourself, you become a conduit or a channel of divine love as well. So in embracing our shadows, we free also the greatest strengths and also the seeds that divine source itself has planted within us. Because we all have greatness within us, and these shadows a lot of the time block our ability to fully express that until they're embraced. When they are embraced, the power and the true potential of your spirit and of what you came here to do is unleashed. And that is what will change our world. From within, as you change yourself, you change your world, you change your perception and your reality. And that, in my opinion, is the way that the world will come to peace. Thank you.